Today we're going to take a look at how to find the slope of a function from its graph, right? So the slope, also written with the letter m, is the change in y over the change in x, right? Where this symbol is called delta and it means change, right? Now, what do I mean about change? Let's take a look at these 2 points, right? And I want to know what's the change in position I need to make to this point in order to get to this other point. So, well, I know that in order to get to that point, all I have to do is move this point in this direction, right? But we have to define how much we moved up and down or in the y-axis, and how much we moved left and right or in the x-axis, right? So that's how we find the change. Now let's take a look at this example. So again, we need to find the slope of this line, and we said that's the change in y over the change in x, which basically means the distance moved in y divided by the distance moved in x, right? Okay, so first I'm gonna look for 2 points, which in this case are 0,4, and I'm gonna take also this point, which is -2,0, right? So now all I have to do is find how much it moved up and down and how much it moved left or right. Okay, so we see that in order to make this point get to this other one, we moved how many positions we moved? We moved 4, right? So now we know what is the change in y, which is 4. And now how much we moved left and right? Well, we see that we moved 2 positions, right? And that's gonna be our change in x, right? So now we know that the slope is 4 divided by 2, which is also 2, right? So the slope is 2. Now let's take a look at the second example. Okay, so again we need to find the slope, right? So first we're gonna take 2 points, right? I'm gonna take this point, which is 0,-1, and I'm gonna take this other point, which is 6,5. I mean 6,1, right? And now all I have to do is find what's the change in y and the change in x, right? So we said that the change in y is basically the distance it moved up and down, right? So in this case it moved 2 positions up, right? And it moved 6 positions to the right, right? So again, we said that the change in y goes to the top, which is 2, and then the change in x goes to the bottom, which is 6, right? And if we simplify this, we end up with 1/3, right? So the slope in this case is 1/3. Okay, so again we need to find the slope. So first we're gonna look for 2 points in this line. I'm gonna take this point, which is 0,0, and I'm gonna take, I don't know, this other point, which is 3,3, right? So now again we wanna find what is the distance it moved up and down, and what is the distance it moved left or right. So when we see that this point moved 3 positions up, right, and then it moved another 3 positions to the right. Okay, so again, now we know what is the change in y, right, which is 3, and we also know what is the change in x, which is 3 again. And if we divide 3 over 3, we get 1, right? So the slope is 1. Okay, so again, we want to find the slope, right? And we're gonna take 2 points as reference, right? I'm gonna take this point, which is 0, 2, and I'm gonna take this other point, which is negative 2, 5, right? So again, we wanna know what's the distance we moved, right? So how much we moved in the y-axis direction, where we see that we moved 1, 2, 3 positions down, right? Now in this case we have a negative number because we're moving down. On the other cases we saw that we were moving up, so that means the number was positive, and we also were moving to the right, which means that the number is positive. When we're moving down or to the left, the number becomes negative, right? So again, we said that in this case we're moving 3 down, so that means we have a negative number, right? And that's our change in y. And now we moved 2 positions to the right, and since we moved to the right, that means it's a positive number, right? And that's our change in x, right? So now the slope is change in y, which is negative 3, divided by change in x, which is 2. So now this can't be simplified, so that means it's gonna stay like that, right? So the slope is negative 3 over 2. All right, thank you for watching this video.